Good morning, everyone. So welcome to another frozen Glasgow today. As you can see here, snow has been making its way and absolutely flooding. Is that the right word? You can see here that all the snow that's been falling over last night. It's like a winter wonderland here. Alright guys, so what I wanted to say was about these frameworks was that it's really important to understand about business agility frameworks. The major thing is, and I get this question a lot, that's why I wanted to make this video, that it's important to recognize business agility frameworks vary from company to company. There's a business benefit for a company or institution to sell their specific business agility framework to a company or to an individual. It's good business. It increases their certification count if you're taking a certification course. So you need to be a wee bit careful and wary of these companies that promote image that this certification will really help you going forward. This is the, this will help your company achieve business agility, or this business agility framework is the right one for you because of X, Y, and Z. There'll be thousands of reasons why they'll say these things. So what's my main point here? The point here is that there is no right framework. There are a bunch of tools out there, a bunch of methodologies available, and you can't say which one's the right or wrong business agility framework because none of them exist. The key thing is that as an individual, how do you go about going through this? Number one, look at what other companies are doing. Look at what other companies have actually implemented and go for best practices. Talk to your colleagues in terms of talk to your friends working in other companies. What is actually being implemented in other companies? That is the best way of doing this. A second thing that you can do here is look at what the consulting companies are using. So look at a McKinsey framework, look at a Accenture framework, because these consulting companies will be conducting large-scale agile transformations. So if they're involved in an agile transformation, it's bound that they'll have to implement the right way there's no right way. They'll have to have techniques or approaches that's going to help them create a business agility transformation or framework that will work in a company. That's the important thing. So let's just leave the theory aside. We understand we want empowered people, we want good agile ways of working, we want evolving business processes, we need to change our ways of work. I get that. But that's just the usual stuff. We need to look at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that you've got these competing political siloed departments which really don't care in terms of, they do care because they want power. They want power. And the agile way is to break down power silos and give power to people who are trying to do the right thing to achieve the vision and objectives of the company. So these are the changing tides. There's a lot of things that are going on in this arena, so you have to be careful as you go about trying to reach these things. All right, guys. So that's it from me. That's what I wanted to say. Actually, there was one more thing I wanted to say here. If you go for a certification and you think by taking this certification it's going to help you achieve business agility, well, think again. This doesn't work that way because these frameworks are purely there just to, they'll give you some theoretical concepts, but they're not there to actually teach you business agility and how to, as a practitioner, go about implementing it. This is impossible because I have conducted a number of large-scale business agility transformations, and each and every one of them had challenges, problems, issues that were not covered in any course content. I don't care if it's SAFe, LESS, DAD, Discipline Agile Development, and Nexus. I don't care what these certifications say or what CAL certification says or whatever, what course says, whatever. These courses are just, it's a selling tactic, that you'll become a transformational agility agent or a change agent. When you go into a company, you can motivate people by principles. Guys, that's, I find that hard to believe, because some people will be motivated by principles, but by and large, people are motivated by money, by their end vision, what's going to do it for them, what's going to underline their main pocket. So don't get fooled into thinking that you can change people just by learning them a bunch of principles, tools and techniques. That is not a business agility framework. So bear that in mind when you go for certifications. And say hello to my friend, the snowman here. We'll get a better shot. I got a message a couple of weeks ago, which was around, it was a consultant who was actually going through a business enterprise agile transformation. The question was very much around how can we take these processes, these Scrum processes, and how can we adapt them into the company's structured ways of working? Because there's a massive amount of mindset issues, a lot of friction, project managers saying they're losing power and control, program managers not very happy. There's a considerable amount of friction available. And what this means is that culturally the company is not ready to accept business agile ways of working. So for him to implement a business agility framework, it is utterly useless. You would not get anywhere with that. And the biggest problem here is that even if you continue to go and implement a business agility framework, the success of that would be minuscule, because people would not accept it. And based on this, you have to be careful. You have to really take things into consideration in terms of, are people really going to accept this new approach? And I think that's the best way to call it, is that it's ultimately an approach in the company. These agile approaches are only worth your while, and they can only be implemented if people are ready to accept change. Are people intrinsically looking for change? Because if you find out through, actually another question is, how can you find out if people are looking for this change to even happen in the first place? Which is probably a much more intriguing question to ask. And you could run an assessment, you can run some sort of survey and just ask everyone, what is the level, or what is the mood for change to happen? And there could be characteristics, attributes, certain questions that you can ask in a survey or an assessment that can find out the workforce, the employees' needs, if there is a passion for doing things in a new way. If you find out that actually nobody gives a damn, nobody really cares for change, then why are you pursuing an initiative of change? Don't bother. It's just going to cause issue after issue after issue. And there's a lot of companies that are just picking the Agile transformation initiative because they feel it's going to cause big changes. It's going to cause the companies to receive benefits boosts, benefits increases, and this sort of stuff. And ultimately, this ain't going to work. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to create a flat layer in the organization, which some people believe in it, some people practice it, then the other people who resist it. And this is where you get failed agile transformations, practically. Now, I know some of you who have studied the other business agility frameworks, you will completely disagree with me. That's absolutely fine. I am not arguing against that. All I'm saying here is that you have to be careful. You have to be practical in your approach, because all these business agility frameworks are not practical, number one. They're good theoretically, they're good to build up your knowledge, they're good to build up your awareness, but what happens in the company as strategic objectives, as programs, as training initiatives to lead an agile transformation are totally different. So just be aware of that. So that's the a big quite a lot that we've covered there today. And guys, as always, when you're dealing with enterprise agile transformations, business agility, organizational transformations, all these things are change initiative programs. So it's a good idea to read up on change management, because agile is the end goal at the end of the day. But ultimately what happens in between A to Z is a huge change management program. So read up on the literature on change management, and there is a lot of structural changes, but at the same time there is a solid theory and practical evidence that people go through a lot of difficulty, a lot of resistance to accepting what's going to happen. So I think that's all I wanted to say, and you can enjoy some of the sights now, and I'll shut up. As you can see, as we've been blabbering on about business agility frameworks, enterprise transformations, it looks absolutely lovely today in Glasgow. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and hopefully you learned something. And until next time guys, thanks very much, and make sure you subscribe, make sure you like this channel if you want to stay in tune or awake for all business agility framework stuff, digital transformation, or these funny little vlogs. Thanks guys.